But here we are, game number 2 of today's Go4sc2 Cup number 395 finals between Targa and Tefel, spawning in the 6 o'clock position. From Imaginary Gaming, we have the red Zerg player. It is going to be Targa. And his opponent is going to be the green Zerg player, spawning in the top left corner, the 10 o'clock position. From Team Dignitas, it is Tefel. Now, what is he up to? He went up to the 10 drones, but Tefel really likes to go for that extractor trick. Going for the Overlord right now, and there's going to be the extractor trick. This is not going to be a 10 pool. The Overlord has, of course, been started. But still, he can get that extra drone out a little bit faster. So, not the biggest of deals. But the Overlords are going to scout each other pretty much immediately around this one plateau between the two bases. And from that point forth, they're going to know each other's spawning position. There they get into vision range of each other, saying hello to each other, and immediately the Overlords do get redirection. So they don't have to scout out that 2 o'clock position, because they're not going to find their opponent there at all. Now the spawning pool has been put down at 14 supply. Tefel still droning up behind this. Might want to put on some aggression, but he did not start his gas guys just yet. So not the biggest of deals, still looking pretty standard. But once again, Targa is going to go for the hatchery first. On this map, it is going to be quite a bit harder if you want to go for a gasless opening, just because the creep spread has to spread so insanely far before you can wall off this area. And there's still these debris, which are always kind of iffy to work with. They have 400 hit points, but you cannot influence that at all. Like an evolution chamber, you can still transfuse them, give them some extra health. And you can have influence on, of course, how you place them. But not with the debris, of course. But that's still gonna take some time to bust through that with your Zerglings, of course. Now the gas geyser will be taken by both these players. Targa already starting his mining. Tefel is gonna be lagging behind, but this time it's gonna be about a minute difference between the two players. So if Targa wants to go for the big Zergling pull up once again, he is gonna have a field day. Tefel's gonna be lagging behind quite a bit with that Zergling speed. Now also the natural base about to finish up for Tefel. The Overlord is getting targeted by that Queen. I don't think that he's gonna get it. No, he's not even gonna be interested in that. He wants to go for the inject, but he still has to wait for 10 more energy to make that happen. But Zergling speed has been started by Targa. He's getting his double Queens. And he's still mining gas. It looks like he wants to go for that baneling nest once again. Or either, otherwise it's going to be an insanely fast layer. But I'm gambling on that baneling nest. Would not be surprised to see that at all. But he's already banking up so much money. What is he going to use that for? But on the other side, it's pretty much still completely equal. Supplies too different. But the drone count 2 ahead for Tefel. A little bit more army supply for Targa, but it's still, they open up a little bit differently, but in the end it does not really matter at all. Now both these players are going to go for the baneling nest at pretty much the exact same time. Now this time it's going to be Tefel who is hiding it inside his main base. So let's see if he wants to be the aggressor in this game. But the baneling nest for Targa is going to be in the defensive position, even though it's a little bit far away from the hatchery to really protect that Queen in this position. But still, who is going to be the first one to produce a lot of Zerglings? Because it looks like they both want to be aggressive in the very early stage of this game. Now Tefel is producing his first two banelings. It looks like he wants to stay defensive. He wants to be safe against anything the target can throw at him, because he knows he's going to be a little bit later with that Zergling speed. But he has it now anyway. It does not matter in the end. Wow. A lot of things don't matter in the end, right? But the Roachborn, Tefel is going for it straight. He's hiding it in the back of his main base. It's going to be pretty safe from being sniped off. And both these players just working on their drone count actually. Targa has taken the lead with 4 workers. And now Targa is producing 12 Zerglings. It looks like he wants to put on some pressure on Tefel. 20 Zerglings now even. He's getting the +1 Carapace. And that's a pretty big tell With the +1 carapace, if there is a Baneling detonation, it will not kill off the Zerglings. The Zerglings are gonna survive with 1 hit point remaining, but you're gonna need 2 Banelings to kill off one Zergling, which is gonna make those Zerglings quite a bit more cost efficient. But the roaches are already out. The +1 carapace is not gonna matter too much in that scenario, but that's a lot of roaches. More roaches gonna be on the way, more Zerglings gonna be on the way. And the Zerglings in this position, oh, he has to be very careful. He moved up that ramp. The Baneling does detonate on top of that. But Targa is taking his third base behind it. Still, it's going to be very difficult for Tefel to move out from this position. Because those Zerglings are just ready to go for a counterattack. And he's sending 3 of those Zerglings in. Busting on top of that Baneling. That's not going to be the good trade for Tefel. But he is very far ahead in the supply right now. 11 roaches on the way for Targa. You will have that +1 carapace, but in roach versus roach battles it does not matter a whole lot. Now the Zerglings are trying to sandwich this army a little bit. There are 3 spine chronos at the front. Cannot just push into that. You can go for the third base. You might try and do that. But some reinforcements are going to get killed off by the Zerglings of Targa. And now it looks like he is going to focus on that third base. Zerglings once again going to try and go for the counterattack to see if the third base for Tefel is already going to come up. But that is not the case just yet. And the roaches are just here for the contain. He has those Banelings to do some very nice initial damage. But will that be enough? Looking at the current roach count, it is 20 against 19, pretty much identical. But the Zergling count is 21 against 8, so definitely an advantage for Targa. Now, Tefel has a great concave here. He's pulling the Zerglings from that base away to try and go for that engagement once again. And this time it's going to be Targa who has the better engagement. +1 carapace also going to be very nice for those Zerglings once again in this scenario. And is Targa just going to take the 2-0 lead right there? A lot of those roaches of Tefel cannot escape. They're being held by the Zerglings, by the roaches, and that was very painful for Tefel. He managed to get away with 1, but it does get surrounded by the Zerglings. And more reinforcing roaches, they have to return back home. Nice supply lead for Targa already. He has that third base up so much faster than Tefel, of course. He has just started his, and it's still going to be a question if he's going to be able to keep it. The Zerglings are going to move into his main base. There's 1 roach here, but that's not going to do it. That's not going to be enough. If he can snipe the queen, it's going to be pretty great for him. But at the same time, there's a big battle at the front. That spine chrono is a little bit derping around. It's not going to do anything. The concave is pretty good for Tefel, but there's a rock in the middle. That's going to make it a lot harder for him to get a good, straight concave going. Now, all of the fights seem to be won by Targa. At least the one at his ramp. He's taking out the spine chrono before it can do any damage. Targa is pulling back. He's going to look for the high ground, take that position there. He did get some, well, he did pick off a few units in the main base, but nothing significant at all. And at least Tefel has kept his third base up and kept his third base developing, because it's still in construction right now. The third base for Targa already mining. Looking at the work count, pretty much dead even. 1 more for Targa, not going to be significant whatsoever. Positioning is going to be way more important. But this has the potential in turning into one of those very long ZVZs. We've seen some very good ZVZs on this map for sure. And the Zergling still... Well, did he actually scout out that there was the third base? Yeah, he did see it. He also did see the creep spread, so he knows it's done. There's actually an overseer just hanging overhead. But the Zerglings here are just waiting to go for that counterattack the moment that Tefel is moving out. Looking at the current unit count once again. 25 against 25 roaches. 1 more queen for Targa, of course. He's going to have those extra injects for him. And 18 more Zerglings for Targa too. Work count has increased a little bit. It's not the biggest of deals. Also, the roach speed and the +2 attack upgrade for those roaches is pretty much identical. So not the biggest differences at all. 4 more overlords are going to come through, allowing Tefel to produce more of those roaches. 11 more are going to come through. But still, a little bit of a supply. Well, actually, Tefel has taken a supply lead right now. But with the next inject, that will even out pretty quickly. Upgrades, pretty much identical. Zerglings, they do have speed here, trying to run around. But that's pretty much the only advantage. that Targa has, and the Zerglings are not going to do all that much. So it will come down to the positioning once again. Oh, the Zerglings trying to sneak by. They're going into that main base. He loses a few of them on the way up. But if he can get the Queen, going to stifle the injects a little bit. It's going to be very annoying. 3 Zerglings have split away. They will be turned into Banelings to roll into that main base mineral line a little bit later. Does clean up the Zerglings right there, but there we go. The Banelings do get morphed. Still an Overseer hanging overhead. Another, wow, all the Queens have been taken out. Oh, there's still 2 Queens on the map for Tefel. There's one at a third base. Where is that other Queen? Completely lost it. Went to the main base to go for the inject. But there we go. 3 Banelings in the mineral line. Getting 3 drones right there. Oh, that's a little bit of an anticlimactic detonation right there. But Tefel wanted to go for the poke. Targa is maxed out currently. Both players do have that +2 upgrade in a matter of seconds. But there's no window to be achieved. It's going to be like 2 seconds. That's not enough to have your engagement going. But because the worker supply for Tefel is going to be lower, there are 2 more roaches for a Targa. There's just a little bit more room for that. And Tefel already teching up towards Hydralisk Den. And Baneling speed is going to be added on for Targa. And Baneling is going to be pretty good against those Hydralisks. But this is going to be a little bit of a trap. Tefel's going to sandwich him right there. And he's trying to fight on 2 fronts. And being sandwiched is of course never a good feeling. Tefel still maxed out, and that was a pretty good trap for him. Targa moving down that ramp. He's going to lose a few of those roaches in the retreat. But looking at the resource lost tab, pretty much still identical. They have not broken each other at all. In the early stage of the game, Targa was not able to finish Tefel off, even though he took some very nice engagement. Oh, excuse me for that. Battling in the range of those Spinecrawl is going to be amazing. The first Spinecrawl already going to go down, but Tefel wants to trade his army away. Both players have a pretty good bang. The economy is going to be more and more important. Look at this amazing concave by both these players. It doesn't even fit on my screen, but it's a little bit bigger, and especially this rock is going to help out Tefel quite a bit. He's going to have more fighting roaches. Still, the supply is pretty much equal. Reinforcements will be quite a bit faster for Targa, so he will be able to push this back. But that was a pretty good fight. Still 1,000 minerals in the bank for pretty much both these players. Gas income is also going to be very important. And finally, we do see the first Hydralisk on the production tab. 4th base on the way for Targa. No 4th base just yet for Tefel. Again, Targa is the one that will be taking that economic lead wherever he can. Overseer will get taken out by that one Hydralisk. Yes, it will. But these chokes, it's a no-go to go for the engagement right there, because a lot of your roaches will not be able to fight. If you have the Hydralisk, it's going to be more useful for you for sure. But still, just roaches for Targa. He's not taking up at all. Did he get his Hydralisk then? No, he did not. He's just getting that +2 carapace right now. And he's going to be 2 upgrades ahead of his opponent, I do believe, for quite some time. But Tefel wants to move out once again. 6 more Hydralisks on the production tab. Does he already know about that 4th base being taken? No, does not know about it quite yet. But a little skirmish. Roaches want to go for some harassment at that 3rd base. Not a whole lot here to defend. Might take out 1 or 2 of those Hydralisks too. Units will well, the Queens will have enough DPS to take them down. Transfuse will save them for quite some time. Targa did not get a chance to get his own roach in position to go for the big concave. But Targa has his 4th up. It is mining. The main base for both these players will be getting pretty low at this point. So it looks like Tefel also should be looking to go and get his 3rd base going. Now the concave is being set up. Banelings are kind of stuck behind those roaches. But Targa is just rolling in right there, trying to get the initial burst damage done. And the Banelings are connecting with a lot of those Hydralisks. This is a great fight for Targa that's happening right now. And he is getting the better concave on both sides of this battle. 152 supply against 120. That engagement with the Banelings was just beautiful for him. And he is looking to punch a hole. Tefel cannot recuperate from that. And Targa takes the 2-0 lead.